Hello and welcome to the United Stand. Who are Jose Mourinho's top 5 Manchester United transfer targets this summer? I feel the season's sort of dying from a Manchester United point of view, and I think it needs a kick up the arse. I mean, yeah, we can win the FA Cup and yeah, we can secure second place, but we've got a big, massive season ahead of us, and we shouldn't fall into this mundane apathy. We should start to build up to that because it's a big summer ahead for Manchester United. Also, Manchester United are apparently going head-to-head with Manchester City and Guardiola for a £100 million midfielder who is going to feature in this video, and I can tell you it's Toni Kroos. Reported in Don Balon in Spain, so it's a bit like the Sun, but there is an element of truth to that, which we'll come on to in a moment as well. But who do you think are Jose Mourinho's top 5? Really want your interaction both live and in the comments below. But before we get into that, I also just want to throw something up as well. I think, look, I want Anthony Martial to stay at Manchester United. This isn't a video about who's going to leave and who's going to stay, but I want him to stay. But it was a fantastic question from Mandy Smith today in the comment section of the video we did at lunchtime. See, I do read them, and she said, if you had a choice, because obviously De Gea is staying, which is brilliant and feeds, this is why we're doing this video as well, because the De Gea thing sort of changes the politics of this summer massively. She said, if you had a choice between De Gea leaving and Martial leaving, what would you go for? And both of them probably were and are a realistic departure of a couple of weeks ago. De Gea or Martial? Stay at Manchester United. You've got to get rid of one. Well, it's De Gea. De Gea stays, sorry. De Gea stays and Martial goes. So, yeah, I'm a Martial fanboy if you want to call me that. Yes, I think he can be a world-class player. But if you ever made me make that choice, which is a ridiculous choice, and I would be saying to Woodward, why? You've got to get rid of De Gea or Martial. I would get rid of Martial because he's a fantastic talent and he can be world-class. But there are other players around Martial in the world of football that you could bring in to replace him who could do maybe as good a job. De Gea is irreplaceable. You can't replace De Gea. So I would sell anybody from the Manchester United squad over De Gea because he is irreplaceable and he has been brilliant over the last few years. And anybody who thinks we could replace him with a Lloris or a Leno or an Oblak, they're all good goalkeepers, but you'd see how good De Gea is. It's like Messi and Ronaldo is like De Gea and Manuel Neuer. They're on a different level to everybody else. And if De Gea left Manchester United, we would see the difference big time. Even if you brought an Oblak or a Lloris in, like I said, he is that good. I wouldn't, him staying this summer like Mourinho has said he is amazing. To have a goalkeeper like that is absolutely fantastic. Smash a like on the video. I'm going to enjoy this tonight. So let's get into it. Who do we think are Jose Mourinho's top 5 transfer targets? And I'm going to talk about a number of players here, and I think I'm going to safely confirm, and people can come back to this. I think these players that I'm going to mention tonight, and I will interact with yours, I think at least 50% of them will be Manchester United players. I think we will get named amongst these players. I think we will get 50% of the players that he's going to sign this summer because there's not a hell of a lot out there when you look at what Manchester United need to sign. First, and I'm going to rank them from 5 to 1, and I want you to do that as well, but we'll go through the positions, give us your thoughts. So, number 5 of Jose Mourinho's signings he will want to make this summer, I believe, Fellaini. The positions are basically left back, 2 midfielders, a right back, and maybe a Galactico sort of attacker. They're the 5 positions I think we will go for if we make 5 signings. But it doesn't necessarily mean they're going to be in the top 5. These are the 5 signings I think Jose Mourinho wants to do. Number 5, Fellaini. I have heard it from a good authority. It doesn't mean it's going to be true that United are still desperate to keep Fellaini. Fellaini's keeping these options open, but Mourinho and United are desperate to make him stay. And that's why I put him in the top 5 because Mourinho, he will consider him a new signing if he can get him to stay, and he wants him to stay. 31 in December. Do I want him to stay? I didn't want him to stay when he signed 4 years ago, 5 years ago, how many years it is. But Mourinho loves him. Mourinho wants him to stay, and Mourinho will be very happy if he can make that signing. What do I think about it? As I said, I wouldn't be so happy about it, but at the end of the day, Mourinho has been quite transparent about it. He's begged him to sign. He tried to do it when he was injured as well. He wants him to sign, and I still think there's a big chance that he will sign. We move on quickly. Into position number 4 in my top 5, a midfielder. I've gone for a midfielder here because we do need to sign a midfielder. I think we all know that. And I'll throw up a few options for you. I mean, Seri from Nice has been mentioned. Fabinho from Monaco has been mentioned. Milinkovic-Savic from Lazio has been mentioned. Napoli's Jorginho has been mentioned. Toni Kroos is obviously an option. I think if he gets Fellaini to stay, he will sign one midfielder. If he loses Fellaini because Fellaini goes for the money, which he may well do, he will go for 2 midfielders. Do I think we will get Milankovic-Savic? I think that he's a fantastic signing. Andrew Ellis says my top 5 transfers targets are Thiago, Draxler, Godin, Icardi, Fabinho. I don't think we'll get any Andrew. I don't know why Thiago's being mentioned. I don't really see him as an option. But anyway, Milankovic-Savic, I don't think United are going to sign him. I really like him. Somebody described him as nothing better than a Fellaini. They need to get out more. He's got everything in the Italian league. He's got goals, he's got assists, he's got power, he's got pace, he's got passing ability, he can run with the ball. He's a really good, and he's tall. He's a really good player, and he can only get better. There is a risk when you take someone from the Italian league because it is slightly slower than the Premier League, and we've seen that with Pogba as well. It's took him a bit of time to adapt. But I don't think United are in for Milankovic-Savic because he's going to cost £80 million sterling upwards. Not Raheem. Sterling is what we use as a currency in England. And yeah, I don't think United are going to want to do that for a player like that because he is a bit of a risk. He's a bit of a risk. But also on top of that, there's a lot of people clambering for him. He's arguably the hot talent in European football at the moment, especially in the midfield area. And if he has a good World Cup as well, his price is only going to go up. We do have the Matic connection in the same national side, but I don't think United will go for him because I think he's going to be too expensive. And I think Real Madrid will be interested. I think City could come in, PSG. I could see him going to PSG. But I don't think Manchester United are in for him. Seri has this illness or condition, chilblains, where he can't play in the cold, so Manchester wouldn't suit him. Fabinho is a player that we've been linked to for a long time. I really like him. I'd still take Fabinho now over Matic, knowing how good a season Matic has had, because I think Fabinho, he's got that speed across the ground, he's good on the ball, he breaks the play up, and Fabinho's, I thought, was good a year ago. I think we all know he's better than he was a year ago, simply by how bad Bakayoko is, and you can see how much Fabinho covered for him. So I would love Fabinho to come, but again, I don't think United are going to get Fabinho. I can see him going to PSG or Man City as well. So you're going to be saying now, Mark, what's the midfielder we're going to get? I don't honestly know what midfielder we're going to get. I think it's going to be a surprise, because we are going to sign one, but I also feel that it could be somebody else that I've mentioned already, Toni Kroos, which I want to come to in a moment. So I don't think we'll get Milankovic-Savic. I don't think we're going to get Fabinho. I don't think Seri's a possibility. Jorginho from Napoli, I know he's talking the talk about Man City, but I don't know. I don't know about him. The one I really think we'll probably get is Fred from Shakhtar Donetsk. I think that one is the most likely, because he's been linked to us for a while. Everyone thought he was going to go to Man City. He wouldn't be massively expensive. I think he's mid-20s now. A box-to-box midfielder. He's quite good. I think we'll end up with Fred and maybe Fellaini or the Galactico I'm going to talk about as well. So that's what I think. Jack Warshong says Umtiti, Savic, Alexandro, Kroos, Griezmann. We're going to talk about a left-back now. And Durrani says, how's Milankovic-Savic worth about 100 million plus? But Martial's apparently 60 million. It's a good point, and actually, this is the problem, isn't it? Because Milankovic-Savic has had a good season, and Lazio don't want to sell him, so they can charge top dollar. Martial had a fantastic season till January. Then we let the world know that we were benching him for Sanchez. Then we've let the world know that we're not going to let him play. Then we let the world know that he's unhappy and he won't sign a new contract. So we've probably knocked 40 million off Martial's value just because of the way he's been treated since January. But as Jose said, signing Alexis Sanchez wasn't what he wanted to do in January. He probably wanted to do it in the summer, but it was now or never. So the hand was forced on that. It was, do we get Sanchez or don't we? But the downside of getting Sanchez is, one, it's going to take him time to adapt, but two, they were probably looking at offloading Martial in the summer with his form continuing till the end of the season. But because he's not playing now, his form has plummeted because he's not playing, and so is his price. And I think Manchester United will do well to get 70 million for Martial. I think 60 million. But Martial, for me, is a £120 million player based on what he's done at United and what he was doing up until Christmas when he got dropped for Sanchez. So we're going to lose out a lot of money on Martial, and he wasn't a cheap player to buy in the first place. And let's not forget, we might not see him play much now anyway, because I think we have to pay a bit more money if he scores a goal. Bayesh Fear says, I think we should go for Guedes, Fabinho and Nainggolan on a 3-year deal. I've seen Matthew McFadden, I think it was, mentioned Sessegnon, and a few people have mentioned Sessegnon. Let's move on to the left-back's position then, number 3. People who've joined a bit late, this is my top 5 predictions for what Mourinho will want to sign this summer. Number 5 was Fellaini, for obvious reasons. Number 4, I've gone Fred from the midfield. We spoke about Milankovic-Savic, we spoke about Fabinho, we spoke about Seri, Jorginho, but I think it will be Fred from Shakhtar Donetsk. Remember, I have said that I'm not going to just do a massive list as well. I will mention candidates, and I guarantee we will get 50% of the signings this summer from names that we mentioned on this show. No, so number 3, funnily enough, number 3 is going to be the left backs. So Sessegnon's been mentioned by a few people there. Look, Draughty loves Sessegnon. He watches a lot of Championship football because he supports Bristol. I don't watch it, but apparently I support Forest. But I don't know anything about the Championship. Draughty does. So he says Sessegnon's a good player, and you know, he's very. To be fair, Draughty was spot on about Martial before we even signed him. He said he was fantastic. So Sessegnon is fantastic. Anyway, I haven't watched a lot of him, but he is clearly a very, very good player. I think he'll go to Spurs, but I think he'll stay at Fulham if they get promoted. I don't think United will go near him for the same reason that Mourinho said in his press conference today, and the facts are out there. He's not a development manager. He doesn't develop players, even though he's at a club where the fans are patient to development. It's never been Mourinho's way. And as he was saying about Salah, I sent him off on loan to Fiorentina to develop. I didn't sell him. I didn't want to sell him. I wanted him to go and develop. Mourinho will not do it at United, I don't believe. And he certainly won't go for a 17, 18-year-old left-back and allow him the time to develop. It's just not Mourinho. Why do you think we're playing a 32-year-old at left-back, ex-winger, over a 22-year-old left-back who actually, if you played him, would become quite good? So I don't see Sessegnon. I don't see Kieran Tierney for the same reason. I'd be interested in him, but I don't see him coming to United for the same reason. He's a player that's going to need developing. So then you push yourself into Danny Rose territory and Alexandro territory, both in their mid to late 20s. I think they're 27 at the moment, and Danny Rose is 28 in the summer. So they tick the box for Mourinho straight away of what he's looking for is, I buy you, you come straight in. If you play crap, I'll tell you off, but actually you're a complete footballer. You've reached the peak of your development curve. I haven't got to teach you anything else. You just come in and do what you know. You're on seal. You do what you say on the tin, and that's what he'll get with Rose and Sandro. Now, obviously, I would, and they're the two. I think we will end up with one of those two because obviously Luke Shaw's going to move. I think so. Danny Rose or Alexandro. I would go for Alexandro. I've been quite consistent. I like him a lot. I think he's a very good left back. I've seen people saying, oh, he's not that good. I thought he was fantastic in the Champions League final a year ago. He's had a bit of a dip in this season. Maybe he's a bit unsettled, but I think he'd be very good in the Premier League. Danny Rose, I would avoid like the plague. He gets injured a lot. He's not particularly big. He can't even get in the Spurs team. Has he got the right mentality? He spent a lot of time at the Jelly Baby team of Spurs, spineless. So I would hope it's Alexandro, but Alexandro is Juventus and United, the Pogba thing. I don't know what the relationship is there anymore. He probably costed quite a bit of money as well. So Alexandro is the one I think we'll go for, but I wouldn't be surprised if we end up with Danny Rose. And what I would say about Danny Rose is, for me, Luke Shaw's a better player than him. So it makes no sense to buy a 28-year-old who will also be expensive to let a 22-year-old go who's 6 years younger and I believe can be a better player. Matthew McFadden says Sessegnon is now an attacker, could do a job at left back, but is much better on the wing. Would be stupid not to get him. Whoever gets him are very lucky. And Matthew's just hit the nail on the head there, because that's something that I've seen Draughty say as well, is that people go on about him as a left back, and he isn't really a left back. He's more of an attacking player. That might make him more of a Mourinho sort of player, but I don't see us going for that, for the age thing. It's the same, I'll chuck some names out for you now. Timo Werner, Christian Pulisic. I don't see any of those players coming to United. I can't see that we're potentially going to sell Pereira, Martial and Luke Shaw, all 22, and then we'll go and sign 17, 18, 19-year-olds. I can't see us doing that. It's not what Mourinho wants. He's here to get short-term success, and that means getting players between the age of 26 and 32. So I think that's what we're going to see. And at left-back, I think we'll see Sandro or we'll see Danny Rose. My number 2 position, a bit left field, because I don't think it's a position that we really need. So we're in at number 2. I'm going on Titi. I'm going on Titi because, and he could be out the top 5 in the next any day, because he could sign a new contract at Barcelona. But I firmly believe Manchester United are in for him. And I'm going to add in Toby Alderweireld here, because it's a centre-back position. And I don't think centre-back is a priority for Manchester United, but I think the 2 positions in the top 5 for Mourinho's signings probably aren't the positions that he really wants, but they're the signings he can't refuse if they become available. And Umtiti and Alderweireld will sort of fit into that. I don't think we need a centre-back. I mean, at the end of the season review, we've really got to look at the signing of Lindelof and say, what was that all about? He's hardly used him. But I do think that Bailly's injury problems, Phil Jones, injury problems. Chris Smalling, good backup, but he might move him on this summer. Lindelof clearly doesn't trust him. And then Blind, I think, will be sold. Rojo's quite injury prone. I think he would like a dominant, play week in, week out, top class centre-back. And Bay's the one for that, but he never seems to be fit enough to do it. And I think whilst we probably don't want a centre-back, I think the Umtiti situation where he's available for £50 million, he's early 20s, he's potentially one of the best centre-backs in the world, and we can pay him good wages, I feel it's probably not a signing United really need, but I think it's a signing they will make because it's a status signing again. It's a nip-in, get a player who's going to go on to be one of the best centre-backs in the world, get him for cheap and bring him in. And I think United will do the Umtiti deal if he doesn't sign for Barcelona. As I say, I don't think we need a centre-back, but I think it's one of them deals that they're like, you can't refuse it. If it's there, we've got to go and do it. Probably a bit like Alexis Sanchez. I think United sort of got a tip-off that that was possible, and they did it. And I think they did it with Lukaku last summer, and I think if Umtiti's there, they'll try and do it. My personal hunch is that I think Umtiti will stay at Barcelona, but if he does fancy the money, I think he'll come to United. So keep an eye on that, and I'd put that at number 2. Toby Alderweireld, I think he will leave Spurs, but I think he'll probably go to PSG or Juventus. United would like him. He is coming up for 30 this summer, so he's quite old. He'll be quite expensive as well. For me, I would want Umtiti every day of the week. Toby Alderweireld, I just think it's too short term. Buying a 30-year-old centre back, that's too short term. But I think if United could do it, they would do it. And then position number 1 of my 5. So Fellaini 5, 4 it was Fred, 3 Sandro, 2 Umtiti, 1 Toni Kroos. I think if United can do a deal, and this is the one that excites me the most, which I've kept till last, because I think this is the number 1 signing that Mourinho would like this summer. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but he would like this summer, because Toni Kroos is the £100 million player that apparently Man City want, that United want as well. Toni Kroos is, I think he's 26, 27, 28 now. He is the best midfielder in the world, in my book. Maybe not in yours, maybe not in somebody else's, but in my book, he's the complete midfielder. He is what I would want as my box-to-box midfielder. He's defensively disciplined, he's got a brilliant range of passing, he can score goals, he can run with the ball, he can tackle, he's physical, he's got a good height on him. He's exactly what Mourinho would want, and he'd be brilliant at Manchester United. Why we would get him is the big question mark, because he is the best midfielder in the world as far as I'm concerned. Why would you want to leave Real Madrid? And I purposely haven't put Varane in here because I think Mourinho would love Varane. Varane loves Mourinho. But again, Varane is about 24, 25 now. He's going for 3 Champions Leagues in a row. He, for me, is the best centre-back in the world. Why would you leave Real Madrid to come to Manchester United? So I haven't mentioned him for that reason. But Toni Kroos, I think Mourinho would love him because that midfield needs that. It needs that sort of experienced world-class player. And the hope is that maybe Real Madrid are looking at evolving and changing things. I don't think they will. I don't think Kroos will leave Real Madrid, but if he was available, I think United would love to do it. And as Harry Cohen says, Kroos passing is mental. Red Jedi's not happy. He says another old player, blah, blah, blah. Look, I'm not the manager, Red Jedi. I wouldn't be selling Martial or Shaw if I was, but Mourinho's clearly mapped out that he wants to sign players between the age of 26 and 32, which is a big red flag that we are a short-term club trying to win a title. That's what we're trying to do. And that's why he will look at players in that age group. If Toni Kroos is available, the great thing about this, though, is we would have been saying before today, well, I'd love Kroos to come to Manchester United, but I ain't giving him De Gea. We can't deal with Real Madrid because they'll just want De Gea. Mourinho coming out today in the press conference and saying there's no chance of De Gea leaving basically means we either aren't going to deal with Real Madrid, or if we do, they're not getting De Gea anyway. I think Real Madrid will sign a goalkeeper, and it will probably be Cortez from Chelsea. But they're not getting De Gea, and that is the big thing. So that means, do we maybe put our toe in the water with Real Madrid and say, you know, give us a player that we really, really want? I'd love Toni Kroos at Manchester United. I think Mourinho would as well. I think it's a very hard deal to do because I still don't quite get my head around why he would want to leave Real Madrid or why Real Madrid would want to sell him. However, if they are looking at a Milankovic-Savic, then maybe they would, but not for me. And Gareth Bale. I've put Gareth Bale in there because I think Manchester United, Ed Woodward, Jose Mourinho would love Gareth Bale at Manchester United because it's a status signing. I would resist it with all of my heart. If we sign Gareth Bale, I'll back him. I think he's a fantastic player, and I think on his day he's still one of the best players in the world. But I do believe at 29 this summer, He can't play in the Premier League for more than 50% of the games. I think he is starting to decline. I think he wants to stay in Real Madrid and they're getting rid of him. I know he's turned us down in the past. It just does. It sets too many alarm bells. But I do think that United would like to do that Bale deal, and I think you could see a situation where United move Martial on to bring Bale in, which for me is just criminal. But we're not talking about what I think or what you think. We're talking about what we think Jose Mourinho's top 5 signings would be. So, top 5 signings for Jose Mourinho, in my mind, Fellaini 5, because I think he would treat that as a signing now, because I think he's desperate to get him to stay, and Fellaini's still unsure. Number 4, Fred, midfielder from Shakhtar Donetsk. Number 3, Alexandro from Juventus, left back. Number 2, Umtiti, Barcelona, centre back. Number 1, Toni Kroos, Real Madrid. Will we make 5 signings? No, I don't think we will. I think we'll be lucky to make 4. I think we'll probably make 2 or 3. But if he could make 5, I think that's what they would be. Biosphere, Kroos can have 4 or 5 more seasons as Galactico, exactly. And Bale is overpriced as Paul Pogba again. A good point there. He would cost a lot of money as well. And Verratti, says Owen Lills. Look, Verratti's not impossible. Same agent as Mino Raiola. But I don't think Mino Raiola... I'll be interested to see if United do sign a Mino Raiola client this summer, because... We've had that issue with the Pogba and the Man City thing. Lukaku's got rid of him. Mkhitaryan left. It'll be interesting to see if that relationship is still good between United and Raiola, because we have bought from him in the last couple of days. I'd love to see Tony Martial sign a new contract. I'm afraid it would be the signing of the summer for me. And we will sign Fred, says Fionn Curtin. That's what I've gone. Pankaj, no, I'd sign Christian Pulisic as well. I think he's fantastic. And for the American market, he'd be absolutely superb. Too young. I just don't think Mourinho is going to go for young players. Kovacic, that guy, I really do like him as well. Dybala and Griezmann will help win the league, says Wolf of the Wild. They were on my preliminary list, to be honest, but I just don't see us doing anything like that. Willian, says Gokul. Yes, he's a possibility. I wouldn't put him in the top 5, but he is a possibility. Jake Wilder, says Thomas Meunier. And he was number 6 for me, because Thomas Meunier is at PSG, right back. Wouldn't surprise me if we did sign him. Wouldn't surprise me. He's on this bit of paper here. It really wouldn't surprise me if we signed him, because he's hinted about United before. He's probably wanting to get away from PSG. Valencia at right back. But I do think that Fosu Mensah will be given an opportunity, and if we sign Meunier, Fosu Mensah won't be given one. So again, we'll be signing a player in his mid to late 20s to close the door on another young player. So I'm not too sure if we will do that. How about Malcolm, says Ben Johnson from Bordeaux. I have good authority that he's going to Bayern Munich. Good authority he's going to Bayern Munich. And also he's 22. So, the thing about Malcolm and the thing about Lamar is that they are both the same age as Martial. So why would you let a player go that you don't want to put the development work in for, to bring in another 22-year-old who needs development? It doesn't make sense. Anyway, thanks everybody for watching. Do please drop a like on the video, but most importantly, whack your comments in below and give us your thoughts. Now, very exciting, I just want to say, quite a short show for a Friday night, but there's a big reason for this. This is going to work. This is going to work. I'm going to be live on the Mark Goldbridge channel in 5 minutes' time. You can click the link in the video description and it will take you to a live stream where you can all chat and wait and talk amongst yourselves. It's going to be Manchester United versus Arsenal FIFA Predicts. I always used to do this. I haven't done it for ages. I've set it up where I can schedule the event. The graphics should be a hell of a lot better, he says. It's going to take me about 3 or 4 minutes to set it up. The link is in the video description to go to that stream and the live comments, and I'll wait and I'll see you there. But thanks everybody for watching this. Do get over for that. It's going to be a good laugh. I've got my beer ready and my controller. Here it is. The weapon of destruction. But I really enjoyed doing this video. I could talk and talk for hours about this. I think the transfer politics are very, very interesting. And what I would say as well is that De Gea staying at Manchester United gives us a lot of security going into this summer, that we don't have to worry about that, and we can sort of go out and throw our own punches without thinking about getting one in the nuts. So I'm very, very happy about that. But yes, I think Mourinho's top 5 transfer targets this summer: Fellaini staying, Fred from Shakhtar Donetsk, Alexandro from Juventus, Titi from Barcelona, and Cruz or Bale from Real Madrid. That's my thoughts. Thanks everyone for watching. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Drop a like on the video on the way out because I love doing these sort of videos with you. The transfer stuff is going to really kick in over the next 3 months if you've not been on the United stand before. So do get involved with that. And I'm getting quite excited about that because the football is a bit dull until the FA Cup. But the transfer stuff's really starting to kick in now. And that's when the United stand and the community on the United stand really goes up a notch. So please do drop a like and get involved. We've got lots and lots of this to come. And if you're interested in the FIFA predicts, I'm sure it's going to be a laugh. I better bloody beat Arsenal anyway. Link in the video description. I'll see you there in 5 minutes if you're watching live. And if you're not watching live, just pop over and you can watch it back. I'll see you in a minute.